Whew, I always get a buzz out for that. So listen, you've been asking for this guy for a long time, but since he's been the busiest man in America, he hasn't had time. But tonight, on Friday night, I got to give the people. I give the people what they want. Dave, Palm, what's good, bruh?
How's it going? How's it going?
So we had a conversation off camera, and man, we you know me, there's all kinds of colors that's gonna happen in our conversation. But I think we were talking a little bit about the UFC. We're gonna cover a lot of stuff today. The qualifiers were today. I actually stole a bunch of live streams, and I put them all on one file, and I'll put them up later for everyone listening. I stole Rosenthal's live stream. I stole Troy Field, Eric Baranek, and actually I put it on mine and put and had the mic and was calling the match on their live stream. Some people might mind, but hey, I took it down and then I'll put it on a file if everyone wants to see it. But you were we were talking about, actually let's talk about the lifestyle. We were talking about, like, if you in Florida, where are you in Florida right now?
I currently live in Miami, but I do like all my coaching in Pompano to Deerfield area.
Yeah.
So I travel up about 50 minutes. Yeah, every day.
So I understand, like, the cool thing about Florida is that you got to go to a tournament, right? You could take an Uber, the Uber stops, and the beach is there. Right?
Yeah.
Or you need to walk. You feel like taking a walk. You ain't got to work. You ain't got to worry about crossing a whole bunch of damn highways. The beach is there.
Yeah.
And that's one of the advantages that, like, I live in California. I live in Hermosa Beach, and lucky for me, I'm near the beach. I trip, I fall, I'm there. But it's pretty cool to get a quantitative turnout, just different versatile players. Let's talk a little bit about that. You were saying, like, a lot of people's like, you should live in California, and you're like, well, I like Florida, and I'll tell you why. Tell me why.
So I don't know, me personally, it was always like, hey, you should come to Cali, and I'm like, honest truth, man, I don't want to struggle. I do not want to struggle. At least, I mean, I've heard things have changed now a little bit comparing the past, but I'll tell you what, you play a local tournament here and you win, you're walking away with $500-$600 for one day.
Right.
Each. $500-$600 each. You get like a 25 team draw, you're walking away with $500-$600 each. And in Florida, if you're renting a room from someone, like your bedroom, you share a bath, most of the time, if you know that person, that's probably enough to pay for your rent.
Yep.
So if you have 3 tournaments in 1 month, you, let's say, come in third, right? You win about, let's say, $300-$200. Great, you just got a quarter of your rent, or a third of your rent. And things are just a lot cheaper here. Like, there's so many options where if you are living the volleyball lifestyle, you can still get that training and in the heat, and in the sand, so it prepares you just for everything else. I love Cali, but the whole, like, I talk to a lot of people and they're strapped for money, or they're not sure if they just want to take a spur of the moment trip. Like, I'm thinking right now, because I'm capable of doing it with coaching and not worrying about it. I don't know if you know, my buddy Will Robbins might take a trip up there to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and take some girls and play some volleyball just for a fun 4 days, and then come back and continue doing what we're doing.
That's fun as hell, isn't it, dude? What about do you have, like, night practices sometimes, or nightlight games?
Night lights, no. In Florida, we actually, at least on the beach, you're not allowed to have have lights on the beach because of sea turtles.
Right. Oh.
Yeah. So I mean, there's like some parks that do have lights, but usually those parks, you have like the local community people playing some pickup games and just competing.
No doubt. Hey, let me ask you something. You said we're big MMA fans, right? Or I'm a big MMA fan. I'm a big UFC fan. I watched Jorge Masvidal, Florida product. They call him Street Jesus. And you said Vitor Belfort is like the daughter's like one of your players, right? Victoria?
Yeah. She's been doing beach with me for quite some time now, and she's a great girl. She does indoor for a club called Tribe, and she's really good. She's really athletic. The girl has so much potential. And the dad, I'll tell you what, just as intense as he was fighting, he's intense with his daughter. Like he'll
Yeah.
go out there and he'll like chirp something while she's playing, like going for the ball or diving for the ball, and the family's just like that. The older brother, he's quarterback, I believe, he's a freshman. I could be wrong, but he's a
Okay.
freshman, and same thing, competitive. It's a loving family, and they're just huge into sports, and they love that lifestyle.
Yeah, no doubt. A bunch of super athletes, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dad's larger than life too, right?
You want to
Like,
mess with dad. You don't
yeah,
want to
I
mess with
do.
dad. That's for sure. Yeah.
You know what Vitor Belfort I was scared of? All right, first of all, I'm scared. I'm a disclaimer. I'm scared of every version of him, okay? Because when a man can kill you without using a weapon, okay,
Yeah.
there's a general respect and a healthy fear for that guy. But the Vitor I was scared of the most was the UFC. They had something called a TRT exception, testosterone replacement therapy exception, for people who have issues with testosterone, like getting shots, as long as you meet something they call the normal levels. And some fighters use that and some fighters abuse that. But I know that Vitor was one of the people that actually needed it. There was him and there was Chael Sonnen. And Chael Sonnen actually needed it because I think he abused performance enhancing drugs for such a long time that it messed with his levels were up and down and all over the place. But Vitor has been one of the guys that's always, as far as levels, has always been honest about it. And I was like, how the hell are you 42 years old? You look like that.
Yeah.
Kicking people in the head, just starching people.
But and I'll tell you what, like, and I guess it's just kind of like the volleyball mentality, on and off the court or outside and inside, the octagon. Like, I'll tell you what, man, he's a girl's dad. He's a sweetheart. He's so loving to his daughter and his family. And when you speak to him, like after a certain period of time, you see that like big heart. You see that like caring and that nurturing part of him that not a lot of people see.
That's pretty cool, man. Good parenting. Yeah, I got me a little 3-year-old towhead, and she's already huge, so she's still speaking like 3-year-old baby, but because she's so tall, everyone thinks she's like 5 and like retarded, like slow learning. I'm just like, no, the girl is still a baby. She just, God just stretched it a long way, So
speaking of that, it's like, man, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like just the time of that age, but man, everyone around me is having kids, just popping babies left and right, and I'm like, I'm coaching kids, but I don't know if I'm ready for all that.
I blame myself. You know why? Because I made it look so easy. Like, I'm showing these baby pictures, and I got this little white-haired kid with blue eyes. So they see me with a baby that's gorgeous more than anyone in my family, except for maybe my wife, right? And I make it look easy. And the people that know me, they're like, Jason got a kid. How fucking hard can it be?
It's tough.
How hard can it be?
Yeah, it's definitely tough.
Listen, I have a friend, and I don't want to mention her name because she watches the show. When I first met her, I didn't have my college degree. I was a military gal. In fact, all the men in my family were military, but I dated this girl for like 6 months, and she didn't seem particularly bright, all right? I'm not saying she's dumb as dog shit, all right? But she didn't seem particularly bright, and I'm laying in bed with her one night. She's sleeping, and I'm awake, and I'm like this. I'm looking at her. I'm like, shit, she has a degree. How fucking hard can it be? Why? Yeah. Let me just go back. This one managed to grad. I don't have a degree, and this one managed to graduate. What? So, oh man. All right. Fuck. Forget the dumb shit. Let's talk a little shop. Let's talk a little volleyball. Did you get a chance at all to see the live scoring or any of the games today, or you were just you? I know you had a long day. I know you were coaching.
Yep, I had zero chance with the parents that I respond to throughout the day, and things that we're trying to come up with, and then coaching all the girls. Usually, this is the time, like maybe an hour, 45 minutes. Try to study a little bit on certain things, and then like I'll glance at that every now and then. But it's not even like
it's not on your radar. Yeah.
Not even close.
No.
Season's pretty much a wash, with the whole thing. So not even concerned about it till seeing what happens next year.
It's kind of liberating feeling, isn't it? Right? If that's one less thing you got to worry about until it's time to, round that corner.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also like, it's fun to like go to the events and play and compete and have that competitive nature. So that's the part that I would assume, everyone misses. I miss it myself. But once that decision was made, it was like, all right, focus on what I can focus on now, and then whatever happens. Because at this moment, I'm pretty sure everyone's living um, from a base to base situation, right?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I'm
Yeah.
just showing
Oh,
a
look, there
little
you
bit of a
go.
clip while we're talking about it. This is
Yeah.
Ratledge and Del Sol, I believe, against Partain and Ty Loomis. No, 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 no. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry, it's Ricardo. It's
Oh,
Ricardo.
how did that go down? How did that partnership go down?
Quick, and I'll tell you. It happens for two words. My answer is two words. Miles Evans. All right. For what we know about Miles, we know he can go into FIVB and be like a world beater, and it looks like he could do no wrong. And then he'll have some match in the quali against, I don't know, someone, and it leaves and the way he performs just leaves everybody scratching their head. I'm just like, how? And it's weird because I didn't think he played a particularly bad match, but every time somebody gets upset that's highly touted to win, he's there, you know? I ain't trying to Debbie down to the guy because as far as being a good-natured individual and just being cool with everybody, we all love us some Miles Evans, but that's the one seed, and that's not a team that I see losing to Ratledge and Del Sol. You know, that not at this time. Del Sol is to be respected, right?
Right.
Great hands, good serve to space, which, in the AVP is king, right? You got good serve to space. They're out of system first hit. They lose a lot of their court vision now. Now they're just relying on calls, and you can change up. You at the net, you change up all the time. You actually, I think a lot of times you do it on the fly, right? So let's talk about your blocking. Do you
Yeah.
does it depend on your partner? Do you have certain partners where you're like, all right, 4 block, and then maybe before the set you see something, you say change, or maybe just at the net you're like, no, I'm going straight one. Does it depend on your partner, or is that more contingent on the set?
I would say 95% of the time, I make the decision as far as what I want to block and where I want my defender to go,
Mm-hmm.
with still sticking to my responsibility. So if my partner gives me a call,
Yeah,
I will make sure I stick to my responsibility. And then, yes, according to scenarios and process of elimination and outcomes and percentages and probabilities, then I'll make a decision.
yeah,
So there's definitely a lot of things happening in a split second, that give me a better feel depending on the type of player. Because with blocking, you kind of said it yourself. There's a big difference between blocking a guy that's 6'2" and springy and a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", and already touching that ball at a higher point. So certain things have to be changed and certain outcomes have to be prevented. So it puts myself and my partner at a better situation to make that dig.
yeah. I actually thought that's where Huntington last year, I kept you guys a little bit of company. I mean, I didn't actually have a chance to coach per se. I mean, I only practiced with you guys one time, so I'm like, look, I'm gonna just sit in the chair. I got numbers. I got
Yeah.
like a pull chart and a transition chart, because some
Yeah. Yeah.
people, if they're in the zone, that don't mean nothing. They don't need to see it. But there's some people, it means it can change a game. So,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
it was one of those games where you guys were you ran roughshod over everyone in the qualifier, and you ran into Brandon Clemens and Dylan Merrick, who I thought at that time Brandon Clemens is playing some of the best volleyball to date. Which, by the way, is when you get injured. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I hate injuries for anyone.
But
It's
do
the
you
worst.
notice about injuries, like the play before you get injured, the play before that, you're playing the best volleyball.
Yeah, you're in the zone. You're focused. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh shoot. Yeah, so that was one of those games where he had such a nice drop on his cross court. So on any challenge on the 4 or the 2, you're like, do I just go straight up 1 and see if Jeff can dig this? Also, I thought Dylan Merrick, anything that came to him, anything that he touched, he was digging. He was in a good zone, and I know you got a pretty good memory, even though you play 1,000 matches. What's one thing you thought you personally could have done better in that match?
Either make the decision of me staying up full time or Jeff staying up full time, because I know we're splitting.
Right.
So I know we had a rough start with the whole referee thing and whatnot. That was rough the first set. So to kind of pick up the swing of things in the middle of the first set was rough in general. If I remember correctly, I think the score might have been like 21 to like 13 or 14.
Yeah, that was crazy.
13 or 14.
I'm
And
gonna
then
let
the
this run.
second set,
Go ahead.
yeah, second set we got off to a good start, and then it would just making that split decision of whether I would stay up the whole time or he would have stayed up. I think would have been crucial.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think so. And also, it's yeah, like Brandon, I thought was just he was pretty one dimensional. He was like, I'm just gonna go cross court until until they do something about that.
Right.
I like to jump around a little bit, but so thanks for driving this car with me, and I promise I won't take us both off.
No.
I promise
You're
I won't
good,
take us
you're
both
good.
off the cliff. A couple of months later, you got Hermosa Beach, and ended up Jeff took the rest of the season off to his credit, because if you're not right up here, right, and you're not able to do the things that you like that you do well, it might hurt your. Not only might it hurt your brand, but you're just not making any money. And like you just said, you're talking about investment money and time and this and that. Those are all important things. So exit Jeff. Brandon Clemens gets injured. The final play against the McKibbins in Huntington. So exit Clemens. Enter Dylan Marek. So you end up playing with Dylan Marek and qualify for Hermosa Beach. I think you beat Baranek and was it Kyle Ratty or someone else? It was Marek
No,
and
it was oh man,
guy's
why
name
am I
escapes
drawing a
me.
blank right now? It was I'm drawing a blank
Don't worry about it.
right now. Long day.
Yeah. But you ended up beating them. Very competitive
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
Match. All of the sets decided by 2. It was my favorite match because you, the two of you and Eric Baranek happen to do really well in matches decided by 2. You know, to me, championships are built on 2-point victories, and we're going to talk about your coaching in a minute. They're not built on blowouts. All right. If it was just about who had the biggest point spread, you and Jeff should have qualified and like skipped all the seeds, skipped Phil and Nick, and came in as the 1 seed.
Yeah.
So that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about your match against Jeremy Casepier and Kame Schalk. You're at 1 set apiece. It's the beginning of the 3rd set. Was there a particular conversation you had? No, you won 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0.
All right,
17,
you're at
18.
match point, 2nd set. Was there a conversation, however brief, that you had with Dylan before the final play of the game?
Before the final play,
Yeah.
it was very very simple. Was we were making sure we pushed him to the pin. We're mixing up Case Beer and Kame, but I believe that moment we were making sure we were putting the pressure on Jeremy because he was struggling a little bit. So we made sure we pushed him to the pin. He passed the ball. There was miscommunication out there, and I think Jeremy wanted it back. Kame set the front ball. So Jeremy came and did a flipper, and then we passed that transition, put it away, and that ended the game, if I remember correctly.
All right, cool. Yeah. I got too bad I don't have that match. It's on Amazon. The whole time you're talking, you know what I'm doing? I'm looking at your match.
You're
I'm
looking
looking
at-
at
yeah, yeah.
actually it was Marty Lorenz, Baranek. That's who
Marty
it was.
Lorenz.
It's
There you
Marty
go. Yeah,
Lorenz.
Marty Lorenz, the
Yeah.
last game of the qualifier. Yeah.
You had a pretty good blocking day that day. Or actually, you had a good blocking tournament. How'd you feel in the tournament all around? Just felt healthy? Felt good about yourself?
I think we felt good. I think going back to the second day, because after that we played a fret. Like I think that was how many matches? That was 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, and then we had to play like right after, or like 30 minutes after, we had to play Miles and Ryan, and that was our 6th match, and that was their 2nd match because it was that weird 24 team draw.
Yeah.
Where you can win your first, lose your second, but you still end up in last place.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, jeez. That sucked.
Yeah, so we that was our starting our 6th match, and they were starting their 2nd. Because I remember we were playing Jeremy and Kame, and that was our 5th match, and that was our 1st match of the tournament.
Right. The match
Yeah,
against Slick and Allen, did you play in the contenders?
that was in the contenders coming
Yeah,
back
that's
the
right.
third day. Yeah,
Yeah.
or the second day. Yeah,
Hell of a tournament, man. It was a great tournament for
yeah.
me because I got to know you a little bit. NVL, Hermosa Beach.
Hmm.
You played with the late Eric Zahn,
Hmm.
and you ended up beating. Um, his name escapes me, but he came all the way from the qualifier, all the way up to whatever, and he's an NVL guy, and I'll get you his name in a minute, but it was so much fun watching you play because you were disciplined. You were having a good time out there, but your ability to have a good time did not hamper your ability to see the moods of the game. You know, it's up, it's down. You had you played a particular way where you weren't too emotionally high or low. You know, if you got a good block, yelled out something primal and then whoosh, reeled it back in, and I'm
Yeah,
back.
really back
Two
in.
sets to zero finals, and I'm like, you know what I told myself? I said, that guy's gonna be a good coach someday. I said that guy's
trying,
gonna be a good
trying,
coach
trying to
someday.
help these girls. Yeah,
Because most
trying.
players, not we both know, and I'm big on this. Not every player is gonna be a good coach just because they play. Some people are like, oh, this
Yeah,
guy played
no,
for
that's true.
USC. I'm like, but he sucks as a coach. Okay, I'm outing you,
And
Jeff
vice versa.
Nygaard.
Yeah,
Okay, UCLA player,
yeah,
Olympian. Do your job, man. You got the
yeah, yeah,
hotbed for recruiting at USC. Do your job. So let's talk about your girls a little bit. How many girls do you have?
yeah. Right now, during all of this, probably running like 30 to 50.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Do you do it in shifts?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, shifts mean more like waves. There's no shift. It's
Yeah.
like the shift is like, all right, 10 minutes, go warm up. I'm gonna drink something, get a protein bar, and go. Right? Yeah. At the moment, it's been a little tough because we're limited. We're trying to get out there as much as we can. We can't use the beach, so that's all closed down. So we try to meet up at a park every now and then. Spreading it out throughout the week. Some go once, some go twice. So it's been a little tough. I'm pretty sure it's been challenging for a lot of people. But for me, it's kind of a moment where we can come together, even through this like craziness, and like have that interaction with the girls, have that that process of, hey, like forget about everything that's happening in the world, forget about what's happening at home. This is volleyball time. You step inside those lines, nothing matters but you and the other 5, 6 girls that are next to you and coach, and we're working on getting better. And I think when girls buy into that, mindset and that tradition, and this is something actually that I learned from doing martial arts for like about 4 to 5 years. And a big part of it was, I remember it was Taekwondo. My master always told me, he said, hey, once you walk into the facility, you're wearing shoes, you're wearing sandals, whatever you're wearing, take them off before you enter the mat. Leave your outside problems there. And once you're on the mat, it's focus and training. And after that, I was like, man, I just used that and I ran with it.
I like it. I love it. And yeah, MMA is or martial arts, not mixed martial arts, but martial arts is a general concept where you're able to wax on, wax off, and just block out the world. Is important. I'm ex-military, so I had you have to learn
Yeah, you got to
learn
use all
some,
that. Yeah,
and but I'm not a martial artist. I mean, what MMA people do and what you trained in, mine was more about survival. And
right,
sometimes yours is whatever you were practicing is more about clean transitions, understanding it, and
right,
this and
right,
that. So I could do things that look like that look like
right. Yeah,
some kung fu shit, but I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to live.
It's more to survive. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And you know what, I think that helps your kids actually want to play more. I think people that get planted with a volleyball virus, I call it the bug. I think 50 or 40% of it is just your escapism. For professionals like yourself, where your escapism becomes your career, you either delve into it where everything's personal, right? Because
Oh yeah,
now you don't just it's not just, we both know, for I speak for both of us, it's not left on the court anymore. It's in the
Right.
video room. It's
Right.
hell. It's in the fucking podcast. Where are we right? I
Right.
mean,
Right.
it's 10 o'clock where you
Exactly.
are right now. So,
Yeah.
so do you agree? Like a lot of it, this escapism. Some girls use it as a form of escapism to get away from shit, and all of a sudden they're learning something that they never knew before, and now they want to know more, and then you've been infected.
So it's
No known cure.
so it's funny that you said that. Because I actually a couple nights ago had a conversation with a young lady, great young lady, sweetheart. Obviously, I'm not gonna say her name, but just thinking about like her makes me smile. Had a conversation with a young lady, and she was going through some stuff, or she is going through some stuff, and I was like, okay. And the mom opened up to me, and we had to sit down, just me, her, mom. We talked about some things. Mom opened up when she was there, and she said, hey, she's going through some stuff. It's some stuff is a little bit mental, and she's trying to get stronger in that so she can improve her volleyball. And I said, what a great opportunity to unload my personal experiences that I've gone through in my life, and not to like one up her, but to go, hey, how does my life look? And she was like, oh my gosh, you're the volleyball guy, you're coaching all these kids, you're on Instagram, the AVP, you got the car, the Audi, and this and that. And I'm like, oh, it looks good, right?
This little rock star.
Yeah, like everything's there going. I go, oh yeah? Well, let me tell you what happened in A, B, C, D growing up before I got there and everything I had to do. And her jaw dropped.
Yeah.
And her jaw dropped. And I told her, it might all look nice from the outside, but until you know what someone's dealing with in the background, you just never know. And for me, volleyball was a sense of, like you said, escapism, where literally how volleyball was introduced to me was in a high school gym. My junior year, I was training, running sprints on the track for basketball, because I was like senior year, going to ball out basketball, sat in the gym. And I'll never forget my point guard. He said, hey, come on. I was in the gym while they were having boys volleyball practice, and my point guard was there, and he's like, hey, come on, jump in the practice. I'm like, man, get you and your little girly spandex out of here. I'm never doing volleyball. That is a girl sport.
That's what Chris Austin said. Same thing.
And I'll tell you, I was like, I'll never do volleyball. Go wear your spandex. So the varsity coach, her name, I'll never forget, Miss Salvador, she came in. She was a setter in college. She came in and she had forearms that were diesel, because she was just like great setter. And she goes, you either jump into my practice, excuse my language, or get the hell out of my gym. And I said, well, how hard can volleyball be? Next thing you know, I'm working on my approach. And she was like, just imagine like you're dunking a basketball. I was like, all right, I'm dunking it. Same thing, 4-step approach, horrible arm swing, horrible technique. And I was like, kind of like one of these, right? When we all start. And then after that, I don't know if you remember, that summer, the AVP came to South Beach. And I'll never forget, I walked in, that was when Phil and Todd were like just on top of the world, unstoppable, saw it. And I just saw the tournament in general. I said, this is what I love. This is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. And last thing I suspected was to coach young girls. And here it is today. Yeah. It's that reality of escaping. And so, like you said, some girls to kind of revolve back around. Some girls use it to like forget about something. The next thing you know, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm having fun. I'm getting better. And this is a sport that I'm starting to kind of love, all with just getting away from my problems.
They got a good coach.
Trying.
Look, I
So
mean,
I got a lot to learn.
Listen, good coaching and knowing the sport. There is a division when you have girls who are going through some stuff away from the court, right? I mean, I'm in the South Bay right now, and you got good club teams that audition the best kids. They try out, and then a lot of those top teams have good coaches. I think Sean Rooney is a good coach. I'll highlight people in the positive note. Sean Rooney, I think, is a good coach. I think Matt Furbringer became a good coach.
Ooh, man, haven't heard that name in a while, huh?
Yeah, he's with Rockstar, but he's doing indoor and outdoor. His daughter plays beach, and I know because I coach endless summer, and like as far as age groups,
Right.
a lot of our girls coming up ran into his kid, and sometimes you just got to be like, look, the wind's going 20 miles an hour this way. Mother Nature has no respect for anybody's skill set. I don't care whose daughter that is. You got to serve everybody. But I think the point I was trying to make is it's very from the naked eye. If you just come in and it's very hard to divide who's a glorified babysitter, right? Who just got okay. I'm that one. I won't name names, but he's like I will. No, but
No,
it
no.
divides glorified. It's hard to divide the glorified babysitters, the people who just have the best kids, and they're really only their only job is to make sure the kids don't beat themselves, and then who are the real coaches? And
The
some of the
ones that bring a phoenix from an ash.
yeah. I named Rob. If you know Rob McLean, he was the Aurora's partner
Yeah, yeah,
for the
yeah.
last few series when you came. Rob is mid-20s, and he said who we had a conversation. We have a separate podcast called Sports Debate Tuesday, and occasionally when we feel like it, we talk about volleyball. And I said,
Yeah.
who are our top 5 coaches that can change your game significantly in an 8-week period? That was the criteria. That was the question.
8 weeks. Yeah.
To Rob's surprise, he was one of my picks. Only because I work with him, and I've never
Right.
seen a mind this young and this brilliant, and just understanding it is so fast, and the patience, and also the strictness, because you get a lot of back talk. Some of these girls, when they have a young coach, it's like, "Pff, all right, I'll be there in a minute, coach."
Like, yeah.
But to be
Exactly.
his age and to come in with that take no mess strictness, as far as that age group, there's Chris Austin and there's him, and I don't see anybody else that commands that respect. But I had Jeff Alzina, if you know Jeff. He was Stein Metzger's assistant. He was also Stein's coach in the Olympics, and now he's at Santa Clara. But he coaches a lot privately. I had him. I had John Mayer, because John Mayer can take an environment that has drama queens, and you would never know, because because nobody wants to be that person, because nobody wants to disappoint
Right.
him. Nobody wants to disappoint this
Such a
everything you
nice
know
guy.
about him. He's the nicest guy you've ever met. You're like, if I think that's the nicest guy I ever met in my life, I'm right. So you got John Mayer, got Alzina. There's a guy named Pompilio. Uh, he was
Yeah.
Jose
Before
Loyola's coach.
1440.
Yeah, he was Jose
Yeah,
Loyola's
yeah.
coach when Jose played, and he's Jose's assistant, and he's one of the head coaches along with Arturo, and the other guy with the long hair who I fucking love. So he was also one of my coaches. So those were 4 of my 5, and for me, those are the coaches I'm looking for that can change your life in 8 weeks. If some of it is blind trust, because as
Yeah.
far as coaching styles go, right? Maybe your coaching style is if the kids understand, they're more productive. And then there's some coaches, th're like, the kid asks why, it's like, why?
Like,
Why ain't in your
yeah.
vocabulary, motherfucker? Go. What do you mean why? So yeah, to me, it's those kind of coaches that where the kids see them, and there's a healthy blend of understanding and being productive. And sometimes you got to keep the ball rolling. And you know what? He's the coach. I'm sensational since I met the guy. I'm just gonna go on that, and I'll find out later. The reason why I'm yapping about this is because I wanted to get to coaching techniques. There are coaches, just like acting, just like theater. If you get up and move across the room, you need a reason to. And then there are some coaches that say, you know what, just get up, move across the room, come back, move across the room again, come back again. And as you move and come back, you have an understanding as to the why, and that makes you productive in that respect. What kind of coach are you?
I would say I'm very dynamic based on the type of girl. There's, like you said, there's some players and groups that I separate specifically that are girls. Well, I'm gonna be honest, that want to get better for indoor. So there's certain things and certain attentions that they need to attack when it comes to coaching for that indoor mindset. There's some girls that it's like, it's just beach. This is what I need. This is what I'm trying to go to college for. Okay. So now our mindset has to enter in the college format. Our training has to enter in the college format. The things that I'm saying to you and how you receive these things has to be in a college format. Because let's be honest here, a college, let's say, has two coaches, main coaches, and then like three assistants. You have 14 girls.
Yeah, and maybe like a
That's
director of operations, someone.
right.
Yeah, that's
And
how John brought me
that's a
on.
lot. That's a lot to focus on every single girl and making sure every single girl gets what she needs. So sometimes you might not get what you need exactly. So you better listen closely for the college format, right? And when coach is saying this is what we're working on, this is our defensive scheme, this is our offensive scheme, this is how we're going to play this school, this is what we're trying to do. You better listen closely and trial and error, and trust and trial and error. So I would say I'm very multifunctional, where I've had players come to me for different things, and according to what they need, I try the best as far as my coaching style on what they need. Like you said, sometimes there's people that just need someone to run them through some drills, get them running around on some exercise. Fine, that's not a problem. Sometimes you need people that are a little bit more need more technical, a little bit more skill, right? A little bit more arm swing changing, a little bit more of approach changing. Like right now, I'm working with a girl. She came down from UNCW, and she didn't notice, but she's going into her sophomore year. But the whole year she was jumping, she never brought her left foot around. So now she can't open up her hips to the setter when she's on the left side
Yeah,
and create that torque to close to the net and generate a
yeah,
little bit more power.
yep.
And we've
That's
been working on that
good.
twice a week for the last 3
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah. That's an
So yeah,
indoor. That's an indoor teaching tool. Like a lot of indoors that
yeah,
transcend to the beach. Most for the most part have that. I think a lot of people don't have that because in the beach, as far as like you said, dynamic range is concerned, it's a single block. And most of the time you can beat it until you run into someone who's your size or a little bit bigger and they're a little bit more technically sounded than that. And now you need to fall back on a technique that is there for you when you need it. And guess what? It ain't there and you need it.
it's not there. Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's funny that you said that because her freshman year she had shoulder problems, and I said, "Well, I wonder why you had shoulder problems because you never brought all the way around." And you were just square to the net the entire time and just pumping with that shoulder all practice, all games. And we talked about it, and it definitely makes a difference.
Yeah, yeah, all the difference in the world. Again, steering us back a direction that we talked about before,
Take us for the ride.
because I'm
Take us
weird
for the
like
ride,
that.
driver. That's okay.
You learned how to play volleyball, like very many other people that in your definitely my area. I'm a Brooklyn kid. You know, we're big on basketball. We're big on football. We're big on the big three. You know, but New York, just like South Bay is like a volleyball town, like New York, Brooklyn, New York is a basketball town. We have eight high
Hmm.
schools that represent like 19% of the NBA's talent. It's ridiculous. But you learn in this sport. Wow, it's interesting. Wow, I think I like this sport. Boom. Whoa. And now the question is, what moment, what tournament, or what game did you play? At what age? This is a childhood thing, I'm assuming, that you told yourself you left this tournament, you left this game at what point did you tell yourself I could do this for real? I think I could do this college or professionally. I can fucking do this. Was there a particular tournament in your
Mm,
youth where
mm.
that made you take a mental next that you were on some mental next level, Ash?
I actually, yes. And 100% yes. And for some reason I remember, I remember closely. So I don't know the year, I know the age, because I remember, and BVB info has my information incorrect because of this whole scenario. So when I was 20, I qualified for the Jose Cuervo tour when AVP was bankrupt. That was the only tour. Well, after they went bankrupt, Jose Cuervo came out, and they did. This was not the big court. This was still small court, right? So they had the big court and they had the small court, different moments, right? So this is when they had Jose Cuervo small court. Or sorry, I'm thinking of Corona Light wide open. Sorry, two different ones. Because Corona Light, when AVP wasn't around, they did a couple of tournaments around where they had big court and they did old school rules. So Jose Cuervo, I remember they were traveling, qualified in Belmar, but the main one was when they were in Fort Lauderdale at the Clipper, and I qualified because I had a wild card from the local tournament, and then I'm playing a couple teams. We lost. I remember there's a big match against the Baumgren brothers,
Yeah,
and
Brian and Tim.
we won in three, and then I was like, I can do this. And after that, never had qualified for anything. Never. I don't even think I had won a local open tournament there. Or sorry, before the bid, I don't think I've won like any local tournament. That was like my first, like one of my first open tournaments that I won. Played that, and then qualified or got the wild card for Jose Cuervo. And I think we played. We lost the first one, played a qualifier team, won, beat the Baumgren brothers, and then we had to play, if I remember, Ty Tremblay and Avery Dross, and we lost.
Yeah. Man, I don't know. Was that close to 2010, 2015?
No, not 15. That was like 2010 or 11.
Right.
Yeah. That was like 2009. Yeah, that was like 2011.
Yeah. I'm just trying to paint a picture in my head where Ty Tremblay was like up here.
Yeah.
He was probably like fresh out of college. He was sitting at Cal Northridge. You know, he's probably 2 years removed from setting. And Avery Dross, you know, young stud at that time, playing some of his better volleyball now. Yeah. Actually, the first time I saw Avery Dross was AVP New York. He was playing back row defense with Bill Kalinsky, and they made the They made the semifinals in New York that year. So yeah, cool, man. Interesting story. I always like to ask a lot of my players who are still active players, and a lot of my former players, who like if I ask Casey Jennings that, I bet you he'll remember that too. You know, and he's like he's like 3 decades removed from that epiphany.
Yeah, and then went to Belmar and then got crushed.
Yeah. So Angel David Dache wants to know who's the UNCW girl.
Well, he's from up there. Sabrina. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, cool.
Yeah, don't want to put there, but if he knows Sabrina, I mean, you can look her up. But yes.
Yeah. While I'm looking at questions, fuck it. Ask away. Kyle Farringcamp says, "All right, dude, 6th match of the day. Besides being fit, how do you recover between matches?"
Wait, between matches or like after a tournament?
No, between matches. After a tournament, come on. I mean, you know, we honestly, we're just laying in bed cramped up. Go ahead.
If you want to know the truth, I would say a big part of it has to do with obviously, you know, doing like a warm down, lactic acid rolling out, but it's a lot of trial and error. For me personally, especially in Florida, because in Florida, I'll tell you what, we'll play 5 matches in a day, sometimes 6, depending on how many teams, and it's 96 with 80% humidity and feels like 102. And that preps us for all these tournaments.
Yeah.
That preps us.
You have New York humidity in Florida.
Yeah. And when I tell you, like, if you're a volleyball player and you haven't like cramped in Florida, that's very odd. That's very, very rare, because if you're playing from the morning till evening and you're not twitching or something, it's tough. I mean, you know, you try to, like, for example, like the guys that know they're going to kind of make it pretty decently far, they reserve their energy in the first couple matches, which give them, like, you know, a little bit easier draws depending on who shows up also. And you conserve your energy, smaller jumps, placing shots, you know, not using, like, trying to go through the game really fast, knowing the moment of the time that you're playing. Like, if you're playing at 12, you want to get in and out of that match. Like, you want to get in and out.
Yeah.
But I would say between matches, like for me personally, if it's the AVP, if I'm done, I would finish up, sit down, walk over. I would do my rollouts first. I would roll out my legs, and then I would do a deep stretch if I don't have to play until like an hour and a half. And then if I have to play 30 minutes, I would still do dynamic warm down. So I would still do light, like lunges, not super deep, just keep the muscles moving, but I would still roll out for sure.
Nice.
And then the supplements you put, like for me, I'm a big salt guy.
Yeah.
Especially being in Florida, you sweat it out, like Himalayan salt water.
Yeah. Zinc is important too, right? Zinc.
Yep. Yeah. Zinc and magnesium.
Yeah.
That's the big opener to absorb all that stuff.
Yeah. For me, I worked in a cardiology practice, and my boss wrote a book called Dr. What Should I Eat? His name is Dr. Isidore Rosenfeld, God rest his soul. Kind of this doctor of the stars. Ron Howard's our patient. Walter Matthau, Milos Forman. But he wrote a book called Doctor, What Should I Eat? And I was like, wait a second. Instead of taking a pill or an injection or a supplement, if I eat the right foods consistently or this consistently, I'm good to go. And now at the time, David, I was 260 pounds. And when I had a marriage, me and my wife split. I just decided I wanted to get in shape. So I started talking to pharmaceutical reps as far as supplements and this and that. But I started reading this guy's book. And I used to eat twice a day. Then I started eating 6 times a day, 5 times. 5 times if I wasn't training for volleyball. And then it's awesome. Dude, if you're looking for a good fat burner, avocado's there. It's a top 10, right? A dark chocolate, eggs, turkey legs. If you're looking for testosterone, don't take the fucking shot. Brazil nuts. It's very, very good for testosterone boosters. But it has to be part of your lifestyle. You don't just pop it Popeye needs a spinach. Before, kick the fat ass sailor to, for the right to claim the skinny girl. So that taught me a lot. I lost 60 pounds. I went from 265 to, cumulatively, I lost 60 pounds. I got as far as 186, so that was like 77 pounds. But if you know bone structures, Dave, I'm pretty wide here and here. Much. 186 was really wide, was really light for me. So anywhere from 195 to 200, that's called a volleyball playing weight.
I hear you there on that.
I wanted to explore because I know it's late there, and look, my time's valuable, but what you're doing, your time's exceptionally valuable. So I'm trying.
No, I mean, hey, look, that. Who knows when's the next one? So I would say fire away. What can't a coffee handle in the morning that fixes all? And plus, like I said, when I coach and I get fired up, the tiredness goes away. So I would say ask away, get into it. If people want to ask some serious questions, personal questions, I'm an open book.
All right. I'm going to talk about something that applies to me, and I'm going to see how much of it applies to you. I've been coaching 21 years. I've been playing for 30, predominantly indoor. I've only been to this beach thing 5 years. Central Park doesn't count, right? Central Park is you go there. There's no sun. It's covered by trees, and the indoor players, we use that to cross train for indoor. And the beach guys use us, of course, because we're indoor. You bring that blocking technique and all that stuff. So I'm interviewing for an NCAA job, and I'm interviewing for a high school job. I'm interviewing for a club job, whatever. And one of the questions I'm always asked is, what is your strength, your coaching strength? And my strength is this, and bear with me on this because I'm going somewhere. I personalize my work. Like we said in the beginning of the podcast, volleyball doesn't just finish for me when I leave the court. I live in the video room like a hermit. I study the other team. I look at mathematical patterns, never mind psychological, cross block. So then, Dave, when they asked me what my weakness was, personalize my work. Personalize my work. Again, when your escapism becomes your career and when things don't go your way, fucking hurts. It hurts a lot. How much of what I said applies to you as a coach? I'm going to go, I could go player and coach, but let's go coach. In other words, do you detach well?
Detach from my business and coaching? Is that meaning, to be clear?
I guess my question is, when something doesn't go your way, and because you're so invested in it, how well do you shake it off? Does it, you're in your house right now? Do you leave it at the door and you close the door behind you? Talk to me.
Ooh, that's actually a good question. That's a great question. So, especially for me, I guess, just as the type of person that I am, I try to be a pleaser, especially when it comes to coaching. Why? Because it's close to my heart. I want to help the kids. I want them better. So if it's something where they're just not getting it, or maybe there was some confrontation with a parent or something, I'll be honest with you. I take it past the door. It's not something where, it's just oh, okay, walk through the door, forget it. I take it with me. Sometimes I'll even be on my phone, like scrolling through things just to like distract yourself. But these thoughts will go into your head and you'll fall asleep like, oh, wow, my phone didn't charge or whatever, and wake up at like 3 a.m. And that's the first thing that pops in your mind. So I would say because I started coaching when I was 18, started coaching little ones like the 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, like, oh, just put your hands together. And then, so I've been doing it for about 10 years now. And I'll tell you what, when I was younger, horrible. I would handle it really bad. I would let it bother me for weeks and weeks and weeks. But not just let it bother me, but I would complain about it. And once I started figuring it out, that coaching can be relatable to your game. If you got served twice and you, let's say, hit 2 balls cross and they dug you twice and they put it away, boom, with authority. Are you going to complain and whine, or are you going to figure something out to change your game, even though it makes you uncomfortable, right? Something you're not used to. And maybe you're just not having the set of your life and you're just not playing well. You can't connect with your partner. Are you willing to see the outside bigger picture to change something drastically? Maybe you've never ran a shoot set. Maybe you've never ran a backside. Maybe you've never ran a quick on the beach. But it can change you, and it can change your momentum to see the bigger picture and to get what you're trying to accomplish. So when I figured that out and I related it to volleyball, coaching-wise, I was like, okay, maybe the way that I'm seeing it is not the way they're seeing it. So let me try to see it the way they're seeing it, and then understand and try to still help them, even though it might not benefit me right now at this given moment. In the long term, it's definitely going to pay off.
Yeah, totally see where you're coming from. I think the thing that's helped me is there was a show on HBO called The Wire. Police drama, but it really shows just the life of the kids in Baltimore and like the drug trafficking. And then one season's the politics, and then one is like unions. But there's a particular character named Detective McNulty. Dominic West he's the actor. He's a Brit that took a year and learned a Baltimore accent and just convinced the world that, like, no one, if you've never seen Dominic West, you would have never known he was a Brit. So basically his character is a cop. His life is fucked up. He's got a wife, 2 kids. He cheats on her all the time. They got separated, and then they're back together. Separated, back together. He treats everyone around him like crap, and the only thing that he does well in his escapism was the police work. This man was good police. He was not bad police, because there are people who are good. There are cops who are good with their families at home, but they're just bad police, because they assume everyone's a piece of shit, and we could definitely get into that at some point. But his escapism, the only thing that helped him cope with everything was good police work. And eventually he had to retire because he got so deep into it. When it got personal, he did things about it that led to his demise. The last season, he invented a serial killer because they slashed police funding. So he invented a serial killer that was supposedly preying on the homeless and killing homeless people. He was just taking homeless people and driving them somewhere else because homeless people coming up missing. And he got his funding, and the police got funding, but the funding was used to take down a drug racketeering a kingpin named Marlowe. They had Marlowe by the balls. They had a wire on him, and then they got cut. And then the major crimes unit the entire unit got cut. So and out of desperation, he invented a serial killer, and then he used the funds that they were supposed to be using to look for this serial killer to take down Marlowe.
Right.
And at the end, and you're going to love this, at the end, one of his partners told him something that stuck with me, and it still sticks to me and sometimes makes me cry. He said, McNulty, the job can't save your ass. What you doing out there, busting this, taking down this case, taking down that case. At the end of the day, you have to have something else. When your escapism becomes your career, and you see where I'm getting at now, when your escapism becomes your career, and volleyball saved us in so many ways. Dude, I was homeless. Yeah. I got kicked out. I was sleeping on trains. I lived through some dark times, dude. I'm sitting there working at McDonald's trying to scrounge up some change to rent an apartment, and I fall asleep on the train. My pocket gets cut, by a bunch of homeless guys with a razor blade, and they took all my money. So I went through some scary things where volleyball saved my life so many ways. But at the end of the day, if your strength is your weakness, if you personalize your work and you don't know how to compartmentalize that, and if volleyball is the only thing you have, which is what I have now, which is what you have now, you have to have something else to wax on, wax off. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna say I said in the beginning, but I want to finish by saying it again. And for everybody listening, look at me. The camera's on me. The job can't save your ass. Mm-hmm. It'll save you for a little bit, and it'll bail you out, and you will think it's the end all, the be all. Volleyball is life, and that is not untrue. That is true. Volleyball is life. Volleyball is life, but it cannot save your ass. And that's something. I mean, maybe I could just close that subject on that, or if there's anything you want to add to that. Shit, it's a podcast.
No,
add something to that.
No, definitely. I agree. It's funny because I was talking to, I don't know if you know a guy named Ken Ammons.
Yeah.
Do you know Ken?
I know of him. He doesn't know me.
Jacksonville.
Yep.
So we're really good friends. We were texting, and it was funny because I was like, yeah, man, I've just been coaching a lot. Mm-hmm. And he said something. I was like, I agree. And he's like, just make sure you find some you time and you do stuff that's not coaching. And I said, you hit the head on the nail. And if you don't have, like you said, that's something else, it becomes very difficult. Yeah. Very, very difficult.
You know, it's weird. I think that mentality of yours is what leads you to just do whatever you want. Like, AVP is a very incestuous thing, and like partners dump partners, and it gets personal and this and that. But the thing I like about you is you don't give a fuck who you play with.
No.
All right, I'm with you and Jeff. We're at the restaurant. I'm gonna take you back, and you remember. You have to remember this. Jeff was like, so we're gonna play at Austin, right? And he's like, no, I'm gonna play with Dana Camacho. And Jeff is like, have you seen what Dana looks like?
And I'm like, hey man, I've seen his game. I know what he's capable of. Yes. We can do it. We can do it.
We thought you were crazy. We were like, dude. No. We was like, yo, take this. You see this thing over here? All right, I ain't gonna share what's in this glass, all right? But we thought maybe you had one of these things on your chair next to you. Nope. We're like, take that shit away from him. But and the only reason why I brought up, someone posted like, and I'll tell you the question later. But go ahead.
But if it wasn't for, I mean, it was tough. We had a rough draw. We had to play 4 full matches. I think if we would have played 3, we would have been in for sure. Because we played 4, and that's tough. Just for anyone in general, 4 matches. You know, Dana. And, you know, legs got a little gassed out, you know, I mean, I was a little tired too, 4 matches in one day. So it was just tough in general. And our first one went to 3. The other ones, I think, finished in 2. But if it was 3, we would have been in. And guess what? I think if I remember, I counted the points right. Guess who we would have played first?
Played Jake and Taylor, right?
We would have, no, we would have played Phil.
Oh, Phil and Nick.
On Stadium Court. And guess what Dana would have done on Stadium Court against Phil and Nick from Florida?
Skyball.
He would have skyballed every single ball. And here's the thing. People are
he's
like,
a poor man's Carambola, man. He's got a good game.
and people are like, oh, but Dana does this. And Dana was like, I don't care if he plays volleyball. I could care if he's doing cartwheels or backflips. It doesn't matter. It's a sport. If the person playing with him isn't strong-willed enough to handle that, then maybe you shouldn't be playing with someone like that.
Yeah.
Like for me, I could care less what he says, what he chirps to the crowd. He was smoking a cigarette, drinking a 2-liter bottle of soda on the timeout.
The technical timeout.
I'm like, dude, if that gets in the zone, get it in the zone. I don't care. Like whatever.
It's like, are you seriously smoking? Fuck you.
Yeah. Because I learned at a young age that when you try to control your partner or like micromanage your partner, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Hot.
So I was just like, whatever you want. I don't care. Smoke a whole pack right now.
Nah, you don't. The reason why he played so well to begin with, the thing that gave him his edge to begin are those things that he does and those quirky things. So you try to normalize Dana, all he looks like is an out of shape guy trying to play volleyball. No, he's already told himself a decade and a half ago, this is how I'm gonna go out. Smoking cigarettes, drinking, and a blaze of glory. He chose his path mindfully, willfully, and man, he got you as a partner who actually knows and respects that. And the reason why I even brought that up is because JJ Kalina was like, DeQuee's in the house. Dave, fill us in on the Austin quali you played with Dana and almost made it in. I saw that. Look, me and Jeff, I'm going to tease Jeff from now, okay? Like Jeff probably looked at it and then said, you know what? This dude took Dana Camacho and made the last round of the qualifier with 4 matches, and we couldn't qualify. I'm taking the rest of the year off. Something wrong with me.
And we beat good teams. We beat the first round. I forgot the guys. I think they were local Texas guys. Mm-hmm. And we beat them in 3. Second, we played Rafi and Dentler. That's a good team. That's
a draw team. That's a bottom of the draw team. Yeah.
And then we played Lindsay and Hamilton, beat them. That's a good team. They were finishing really well in the NVL, and they were like, all right, we're local. We're in Texas. Why not? Beat them. Good team. And then at the end, we ran out of gas, played another good team. And, but it is what it is. But, man, if there was a genie and said one wish, what would it be? I would be like, to qualify for that tournament just so I can be like, yeah. Dan and I made that qualifier when everybody's like, what are you doing? This and that, blah, blah, blah. And also so I can see Dana and just sit back and watch some Skyball fill the Nick. That would
have been awesome.
And
that was a bizarre tournament, dude.
Yeah.
That was a bizarre tournament. And I'll tell you why. Like, if you looked at the draw, the 1 seed, Taylor Crabb, right? And I don't know if he was partying the night before or whatever rock they had to kick over to maybe, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking maybe 6 guys from the bar just like mosh pit carried him to the fucking center court and just threw him on. They lost to Gabriel Espina and Paul Lotman, right? And
I didn't see that match, but yeah, I saw the scores.
So the 1 seed gone first round. The women's 1 seed gone. Betsy Flint gone first round, and then eventually lost in the contenders bracket to Fallon Fonoy Moana and the other chick from USC. I can't remember her name right now. I'm actually looking at Beach Volleyball Database just to see who you beat. I'm just trying to see if I could just if BVB.info. Yeah, for Austin. I'm just trying to pull that up.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a good tournament. We had a good run. That 4th match, that's what got us. I mean, 4 matches in one day in a matter of what? We started at 8, finished around 6, 12 hours, less than 12 hours. That's tough. That's tough in general, just for anyone.
Yeah, that is. And I'm so impressed because it was 4 matches and I co-signed, dude. I co-signed with you. I think there's no doubt in my mind, and this is opinion based on historical fact, watching you play and watching Dana play. There's no doubt in my mind that if you didn't have to play 4 matches, if you didn't have to play 4 matches, let's say you only played 3. All right, I got it.
It would have been a lot more interesting.
I got it. Delanes and Hellman. All right, so first round, you had to play Dentler and Paulus. You won 2-0.
No, that was our second round.
Yeah, here it is. Pulling it up right now.
Yeah,
Dentler and Paulus, right there.
Yeah,
you won 2 sets to 0. Hamilton, good player. Lindsay, a lot of people don't know if they're good players, but if you beat Kyle Ratty and Connors, you did shit. Okay, so that's 2 sets to 0 on them, and then you have Delaney's and Hillman. Hellman, very good grass player. I always see him play grass 3s at the boat ride. If that's the right Hellman. Do I have the right Hellman?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. So let's see if there was another question before I get you at let you go. Who's the UNC girl? Oh, snap. Let me put this on big TV. Shout out from Gastown, Todd Sloan. Nice. Don't we love us some Todd?
It's Todd.
We love us some Todd, man.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So, what do you think is the biggest strength of the AVP and the biggest weakness of the AVP?
Right now, the biggest strength is Amazon Prime. Putting it on because the whole damn world's gone digital, because cable, if you live in a big house and 3 cable boxes with just a regular package is going to cost you $311 a month. People are cutting the cable, they're live streaming everything, and Amazon Prime had everything except sports. And some people that don't watch a lot of sports, that only watch, let's say they only watch beach volleyball, holy shit, I'm good. So Amazon Prime is the best thing. If we're just talking last 5 years. All right, the best thing that happened to Amazon Prime, the best thing that happened to AVP was Amazon Prime. The worst thing that happened to AVP was the feud with Kerry Walsh. It got ugly. You know, it involved lawsuits. It also involved Donald's son just saying, hey, you know what? I'm tired of people just siding out for a victory. We're going to do something called a scoring freeze, which I thought, at the time, I thought he was out of his fucking mind. And a lot of people still do think that. But and you know me, I'm not going to be, let's just say I'm not going to sugarcoat things because I'm afraid I'll get banned for somewhere. Like, in other words, I'm not this way because I'm on camera. I'm on camera because I'm this way. So I'll just say that before I finish what I'm going to say. I hold both of them culpable because Kerry Walsh is basically using that as a platform for saying, hey, you know, we need better salaries. You guys are professionals and you live in your dad's garage. We have to do more. We have to do this. We have to do that. And she's right. But she had to have the falling out with Donald's son to say that. Okay, I love and respect Kerry Walsh, and she's not going to like what I have to say. And maybe Casey Jennings is going to be waiting out my house ready to scrap for what I'm about to say next. Where the fuck was she before that? Was Kerry Walsh about the kids? Was she about salaries and this and that? Maybe, but I didn't hear a peep about that until she had that falling out with Donald. That had to be the inciting incident that led to that. So I don't even know if that's a bad thing either. Maybe that's a good thing, because maybe she was always like that and just finally broke her silence. Or that had to be the inciting incident to be like, no, you know, I'm gonna make my own league where they're gonna pay a little bit more and this and that. So the best thing that happened was Amazon Prime, and the worst thing that happened was this split down the middle on opinions between Kerry Walsh and Donald's son. And Donald's son was fucking worse than Dana White. Like, and not even Dana White's like this. Dana White's like, you never hear Dana White say you're banned from the UFC if you talk shit. Yeah. All right?
Yeah.
I mean, Donald's son went off. You're banned. You're banned. You're banned. Like a fucking baby, dude. You know? So, and I talked to Jeff Conover about this because he knows I've been critical about this. And Jeff Conover told me, as long as your criticism is fair, we ain't got a problem with that. My criticism right now, about him is fair. He's awesome right now. This Amazon Prime thing is awesome. The scoring freeze turned out to be tremendously great. It's everybody's loving it. It's exciting for the sport. So maybe I was wrong about him. Maybe I was just like, F this dude, and a few years down the line, I'm like, wow, maybe I needed to be banned so I could understand this stuff. But the worst thing that happened was taking the most popular player in beach volleyball, male or female, the most popular player in the sport, not just the US, the most popular female player in the history of the sport, is split down the middle with something that's supposed to be the gold standard for professional beach volleyball. And I'll tell you this, it was a great opportunity for NVL. They dropped the ball big time. Great opportunity for World Series of Beach Volleyball, go to Long Beach. The NVL had that co-promotion. I think you won with Miles Evans. You beat Dentler and Merrick. It's crazy how it all comes back to you guys. So I hold the both of them responsible for that falling out, because that you're messing with people's careers, right? Casey Jennings still not allowed to play. Bill Kalinsky got banned because they heard he was talking shit about the AVP on a certain podcast. Well, I wonder which podcast that would be. He was only on a podcast twice. That was mine. And if you go back, at no time did he ever say anything critical about the AVP. He said something about himself. He said, I just want to be able to do this professionally and make a living. Basically, he was talking about competing outside of the AVP when they're not in competition. And that's what you would want, right? You would want year-round competition where you got some kind of incoming salary, which is why I thought P1440 was great. Fuck it, want to do it on Halloween, Thanksgiving, just before Christmas? I'm with it. International players are invited too. Where do I sign
Yeah.
up? So I'm glad that they've all come full circle. And when I say full circle, Kerry's doing fine. Casey's doing fine. Everybody thinks, oh, P1440 is dead. No, they're not. I think they have like over $250 million, like $250 million invested in a contract with ESPN. And my guess, I think they're just waiting for contracts to be over, because they some made everyone sign a 3-year contract, and I think this is the last year, and maybe they move in then. But listen, it's all come full circle where Jacob Gibb, when he won Hawaii, got on the microphone and said, big shout out to Donald's son for making all this happen. And everyone had to eat it, because they were right. Donald's son, this whole thing came full circle where he came out smelling like a rose. It was crazy. It was like Kaepernick taking a knee. And everybody's like, has this guy lost his mind? What the hell has one thing got to do with the other? And now he's looking pretty good right now, isn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, not the comparison on the social level, but just the comparison of coming full circle, where like people don't understand, but just have a little faith and it'll come back. So Donald son, if you're listening, you know what? My criticism, I am hard, but we both know I am fair. And it's also come full circle. Big up to you for making this happen, man. I'm really, really happy with where it is now. And now, Dave, ooh, right? Where does it go? What do they do? What's going to happen now?
So I have a follow-up question, and this is for my Florida people.
Let's do it.
Because I've been true to my Florida people.
Mm-hmm.
Why has the AVP, in your opinion, stopped coming to Florida? And should they come back to Florida?
There's no reason why they should not come back to Florida. And why they stopped coming to Florida, I don't know. I think when you shorten your tournament to 6 stops or 8 stops, you have to cut something. But right, they cut Cincinnati.
Sure.
This year last year they cut San Francisco, which is a great crowd. I believe Arafu and Ed Ratledge won that one. And let me tell you something. They got an Asian population that comes out full force for beach volleyball. But to answer your question, Florida is a year-round warm place to play, and it's somewhere that they could finish. You know how they start Huntington? There's no reason why they shouldn't do it. They should finish at Florida. Florida, there's healthy competition in the qualifiers, great local talent. And if you can do New York, and if you can do Seattle, you can definitely do Florida, you know? I mean, the FIVB, they should come back than do the 5-star there. It's just easier to land. It's easier to travel there. So why has the AVP stopped going to Florida? I just think that they, when they cut down to 8 stops, they had to pick their places wisely, as far as maybe there's money, maybe there's permits involved in this and that. I don't think anyone in the AVP hates Florida. There's good competition there. And clearly you showed that you could take Dana rolling off the couch.
Yeah.
You know.
Just a curiosity.
Yeah.
I mean,
does that make sense though? Does my answer make sense though?
Yeah. Do you think it has something to do with weather, conditions?
Nope. I think it's money, permits, and I mean
permits. That's easy.
Yeah.
Because my guy Diogo Sosa runs Dig the Beach.
I mean, don't you think Phil and Nick would like
this.
that? Don't you think Phil and Nick would be down with that?
Of course they would. And the fact
Right.
that they live in Orlando, and Ricardo lives in Orlando now. Rafu lives in Orlando.
Yeah.
Puerto lives in Port St. Lucie. The boys are back.
Let's see. JJ Kalina said they were coming down during the rainy season and very humid. Heard sponsors dropped at times. Jason is correct on season ender in Florida. Florida would be the reason why I even thought that is because when P1440, when they finished at Huntington Beach, everybody was talking about low turnout this, low turnout that, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the people that actually did come. They had the time of their lives. Ricardo said, my son is there. This is the best time I've ever had in my life. You had certain players and families they were like in tears. They were in tears, and that wasn't even like a tournament. That was a king of the beach format and a Young Guns thing. That Mexico won. Tiwi and Ontiveros beat Eric Zahn and Dross in the semifinals. That was the best. That was Zahn's best performance in a losing effort or a winning effort. I've never seen. I was like, every time you tested him, he made you pay. They ended up having to serve Drost. And
Yeah.
Drost with Zahn, one of the best 3-setters in beach volleyball at the time. You can't hit his sets. That's on you. Respect,
Yeah.
mad respect to every Drost wherever you are, but that's on you, right? The best 3-setters in beach volleyball right now are Rafa Rodriguez, all right? Zahn, well, not Zahn. I mean, I don't even I can name 3 anymore. One's no longer with us. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Rafu, you give me someone who's one of the better hand setters on a beach volleyball scene. Who's one? Give me one.
Skylar's pretty good.
Yeah, Skylar's
Skylar's
awesome.
pretty good.
Yep. Yeah.
Because if he has someone, I mean, Ed's great. Ed's got long arms, but he has someone that's dynamic. I think he can move the ball around. Like someone that loves running like shoots and backs and quicks and like fakes. He'll put it there. He'll definitely put it there.
Yeah. I'm so glad you asked me that question because Hermosa Beach, I was coaching Jake and Earl.
Right.
And I got them into the main draw, and it was cool because it's not like I was coaching a team that was already in the draw, right?
Right.
If I still feel like I'm a stranger or an imposter in the tent, how about I coach a team in the qualifiers? How about I punch my own ticket? So that was a good moment for me. It was also my birthday. So, but
nice.
the last game, I came up to him. I said, Donald, let me shake your hand, man. I love what's going on right now. But the person I want to shout out right now is Jeff Conover. Jeff Conover, the guy behind the scenes who, if he talked more, he would be the Dana White of the Dana White the UFC Dana White of beach volleyball. If he talked more, he's the guy.
Smooth.
He's the guy that makes things happen. He's the guy that reaches out to players. He's the guy who makes sure everything runs smoothly. And he's the guy that came up to me and says, "You know what? Say what you want in your podcast, as long as it's fair." And I mean, as far as my language, everybody knows there's some things that ain't gonna change. I'm gonna talk how I'm gonna talk,
Right.
And also the AVP, as much as I love and respect the AVP and P1440, they don't navigate our bottom line, right? You didn't get to watch a single match today. Why? Because your bottom line is something else. You were coaching 54 girls, all right? My bottom line right now, I got a 3-year-old. I refuse to let life watch that girl
life.
be 6 feet tall in a day, and I'm like, where's all that time gone? This COVID thing, I'm good at doing nothing, Dave. If the government's telling me to stay home and play video games and play with my kid, guess what? I'm gonna do that. So yeah, I like that. And I love what we was talking about here, man. Oh my God, it's 11:22 out there.
Oh yeah. So do you think?
Go ahead.
We're going to see some AVP in Florida, maybe
Yes.
rally up social media, bring the hype, maybe get a petition. I don't know. I'm just saying, imagine you put it somewhere, let's say somewhere fun, Orlando, Disney World theme, something where you can put a couple courts, bring in some sand, make a trip to Disney World with the players, some media for the AVP, Disney World AVP. There's so much possibilities.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as getting sponsors, sponsors like to sponsor people who watch the sport. They watch the sport, they're gonna see the billboards, they're gonna see the commercial time. And Orlando would pack it in because they're just big on beach volleyball, and they don't care if it's the AVP, they don't care if it's the NVL, they don't care if it's FIVB. They're all gonna be there. I think that if enough voices, like you just said, you ascertained, if enough voices say Florida, let's go, let's make it happen. Florida, let's make it happen. Florida, let's make it happen. That they will go. It's the reason why they stay in Chicago every year. I mean, Chicago logistically doesn't seem like an easy place to set up beach, right? But they do it
Not at all.
because Chicago has a huge indoor population. I mean, if you look at the MIVA, it's not a big surprise to see the MIVA play each other in the semis or finals between Lewis University, Ohio State. If you look at the last 10 champions, right? Ohio State 3 times, Loyola Chicago twice. Loyola Chicago beating Division II Lewis. So, where the hell was the MPSF, right? Where was the Big West?
Yeah.
EIVA disappeared. I mean, Harvard won one, for Christ's sakes. So they made Chicago happen. they made New York happen. And New York, we both know, has a huge immigration population. You're going to probably, you're West Indian, you're probably going to find more West Indian players in New York than you will than in your homeland. You're going to find more Puerto Ricans in New York than San Juan. That is a statistical fact. There are more Puerto Ricans in New York City than there are in the city of San Juan. That's some stats for your ass.
I can believe that. Yeah.
So if they can make Chicago happen, if they can make New York happen, and New York was a smashing success, they moved Pier 25 up the hill a quarter of a mile and had stay and play games at Pier 25. So Jeff got eliminated, but everyone got to play in that and get some cheddar cheese at the end. And the crowd was nostalgic. If they can generate that nostalgia in the city, where people have to cross a highway just to get to where they set up the courts.
Exactly.
Florida, look out. The sponsors will come running on bended knee. Donaldson, if you're listening, I hope you're listening, because I want you to take all of this with a grain of salt, and I want you to take the praise too, because I speak for this man with me that's on this podcast with me. We could be a little hard sometimes, but at no time, and I cite anybody the name of time that Dave Palm has ever been unfair about anything as far in regards to volleyball. Me, I've been unfair plenty of times, but I think I've just matured.
Or even, I don't know, maybe, I mean, I know those permits are expensive, but a little AVP South Beach all over again. Get the players coming out to the nightclubs,
And as far as getting to it,
around the world.
And as far as making it easy to get to, right? South Beach?
So easy.
Yeah, just walk on the beach. You park your car on the beach, get out.
Oof. It's nice. If you haven't been, you need to come.
Got to get that. I understand that it's easier. Their headquarters is in California.
I know the South Beach community would love if the AVP. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if the South Beach community wouldn't take matters in their own hands and go, Donaldson, we'll take care of logistics for everyone. We'll make it happen. We'll make sure everyone has a nice bed to sleep in, because they just know so many people. That's how big the South Beach community is.
Well, I'll finish by saying this. Listen, they're headquartered in California, so Manhattan Beach stays. Hermosa Beach
makes sense.
7-year absence. That's there to stay because that crowd generated stuff. Huntington Beach, fine. What it is, what it is. So
of course.
If they want to keep 8 stops, and if they have to drop a stop on the tour to make this happen. I like Austin. Drop Seattle. They already dropped San Francisco They dropped San Fran for Hawaii.
Zahn and I played that in Seattle. It was free.
Seattle gonna be mad at me, but come on.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I would tell you, very beautiful. A lot of history.
Good food.
Way too cold. Good food. Just way too cold. Way too cold.
Yeah. So if I had to name 8 stops, let's just do the big 3 first: Huntington, Hermosa, and Manhattan Beach. That's your 3, right? Austin. It's just too big down there. I mean, particularly the way the Cannoli, Rochettes, young talent leading the charge. So that's 4, right? 4. I did the big 3 and 4. New York, 5. Chicago, 6. Hawaii, 7. Let's do Florida.
Florida, 8.
Yeah.
8 corners.
So in 8 stops, what has to go? And in the 8 stops,
Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah. Hey, for everybody listening, and there's a ton of comments on this thing right now. For anybody listening, you're going to see the replay on this on NY Varsity Sports on my Facebook handle. I have a lot of followers from English-speaking countries, the UK, Argentina, Chile. They're big on the Gromalts, and I actually tape a lot of the Gromalts games, so I have some following out there. Australia. So... right now, it's killing it. This podcast is killing it on Facebook, NY Varsity Sports, but YouTube is only like 20 views because YouTube wants me to pay to promote it. And let me tell you something. 42 episodes in, I probably will. There's a reason why you watch a volleyball video and you look on the right, you look at suggested post. Why aren't more volleyball videos coming up? Why do I care about what the hell Khloe Kardashian's doing with her breast? What the hell, as far as subject matter, what the hell does one thing have to do with the other? They're paying to promote it. Right?
Damn algorithms. Yeah.
So I just got to once I crack the code, I'll definitely get more views. Not Facebook worthy, because again, it's a snowball rolling down the hill. 9,500 views an episode is not bad for a volleyball podcast.
Yeah.
And thanks to everybody listening, man. God bless you, because they know I could yap and they want me to shut the fuck up sometimes, but they put up with me because I got good guests like you. Some people like you put me up, my dude. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking your time. And just thanks for the questions. And once again, later on, if you pencil in some juicy questions or whatever it is, like I said, I'm more than welcome to answer anything.
Definitely. I'm gonna try to get Dougie Fresh next week because he was on last year for my birthday. And and we'll probably have to do it Zoom because again I'm teching my own show.
You got to ask him.
But
how
I would
was
love
this, weekend coaching.
Yeah.
How was this weekend coaching?
Yeah, definitely, man. Austin isn't going anywhere, but I'm ready for Florida. That is Carl.
Hey.
Carl ATX. Carl.
Hey, all you Texas people, all you Cali people, come to Florida. We'll take care of you. We'll treat you with the right culture.
We got
we'll hit
your
the
back.
clubs. We'll teach you how to dance a little bit. We got you guys. We got you guys. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Listen, New York, we're teaching people how to make pizza. I mean, for me,
There you go.
I'm suffering here right now, dude. I'm suffering. There's a place called Mickey's, which is actually a delicatessen that makes better pizza than the pizza joints. It is my last bastion of hope for good pizza in the South Bay. I am suffering. And there's another guy named Valentino's. When I was 9 years old, Valentino was making my pizza in Brooklyn, Parkside Avenue. Still alive. And so that's another good pizza
Going
joint.
strong, yeah.
Yeah. So that's all I got for you people. I've had it with you people. For all of you at home, for all of you people on your iPad listening to this, for all of you people waiting to get into a restaurant on your iPhone at Starbucks or whatever, American Junkie, for all of you watching on your desktop, who rules the world? Old school people. For Dave Palm, the sensational Dave Palm, I am Jason DeBeas. We're going to hit my music and I say, we're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.